Check one. Good afternoon, good evening, good evening, good evening. Need a motion to call the meeting to order. Ms. Perry? I'm sorry, I need a motion to call the meeting to order. I need a roll call. Ms. Perry? Mr. Davis?
Present. Oh, the motion is to call the roll.
Call the roll.
Yes. You go ahead and call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
I'm present.
Ms. Cousins? Yes. Ms. Jones? Here. Mr. Hikes?
Here.
Ms. Weiss? Here. Ms. Hubbard? Here. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
I would like to welcome everyone into the new year, into the 2025 year. With that said, I want to lean into Dr. Borshade for the student and staff recognition.
Good evening, Madam President, Vice President Davis, members of the board, and to our audience. First of all, I'd like to start by thanking our SLPS staff and families for making sure that learning continued through our AMI days. Tonight, we will be honoring principals who have achieved APR milestones. Are we ready? As we begin the year, I am filled with excitement and anticipation for all that lies ahead. The start of the new year is a time for renewal and setting our sights on how we will continue to win and learn. Together, we will build on our momentum and drive forward in our mission to support and uplift our scholars. Tonight, I have the honor of recognizing outstanding efforts of our school principals who have exemplified leadership and dedication by achieving significant milestones in the 23-24 school year. These principals have led their schools in growing on their Missouri School Improvement Plan, which is MSIP. This is truly a testament of how hard our principals have worked, our teachers, our students, parents, academic staff, network superintendent, chief of schools, and everyone else working to support them each and every day. As you know, during our AMI days, learning continued to take place. In our Transformation 4.0 and our Comprehensive School Plan, which was submitted to DESE in January 2023, the first goal under Pillar 1 indicated that all schools will earn a minimum of 70% in the M66 annual performance metrics. As you will see tonight, many of our schools have grown and several of our schools have already met that 70% mark. Each of our leaders will receive a certificate of achievement to honor their commitment to student success and organizational growth. Their efforts not only inspire excellence within their schools, but also strengthen the collective impact of St. Louis Public Schools. Let's begin to celebrate our principals. Dr. Dino?
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Borshade. Principals, when you hear your name, please come forward and get your certificate and your book. And then we're going to take one picture at the end. So if you can wait along the side, and then we'll come right up to get your photos. Yeah. All right. Our first principal this evening is Dr. Larry Robinson at AESM Middle School of Overture. Our next principal is Dr. Javita Parks Prince from Ames Visual and Performing Arts Elementary. Our next principal is Dr. Paula Bodie from Ashland Elementary School. Unfortunately, she was unable to join us, and Dr. Glass will accept on her behalf. Our next principal is Mr. Jason Bressman from Bryan Hill Elementary School. Our next principal is too far. Dr. James Blankenship from Booter Elementary School. Our next principal is Mr. Robert Lesher from Bush Middle School of Character. Our next principal, Dr. Jonathan Griffin from Carnahan Steen School of the Future. Dr. Brandon Clay, George Washington Carver Elementary Academy. Dr. Amy Phillips, Central VPA High School. Ms. Mahogany Bryant and Ms. Judine Kepler from Clyde C. Miller Career Academy High School. Ms. Tiffany Houston from Columbia Elementary School. Ms. Susan Reed, Compton Drew ILC Middle School. Mr. Andrew Donovan, Dewey IS Elementary School. Dr. Damaris White, Gateway Middle School. Ms. Starlet Frenchie, Hamilton Elementary School. Ms. Belinda Quimby, Humboldt Academy of Higher Learning Elementary School. Ms. Relena Burns, Lexington Elementary School. Dr. Benicia Nanez Hunt, Long International Middle School. Dr. Kitson will be accepting on her behalf tonight. Dr. Lisa Brown, Mann Elementary School. Dr. Heather Colley, Merrimack Elementary School. Ms. Angela Durbin, Oak Hill Elementary School. Dr. Siobhan Curry, Patrick Henry, Downtown Academy Elementary School. Ms. Chantrice Garrett, Peabody Elementary School. Ms. Anna Dancy, Roosevelt High School, accepting on her behalf is Assistant Principal Sanchez Johnson. Ms. Vanessa Noble, Shaw Visual and Performing Arts Elementary School. Dr. Lara Outza, Siegel Elementary School. Dr. Azalea Carter, Soldan International Studies High School. Dr. Rhonda Wallace, Sumner High School. Ms. Vron A. Brown, Walbridge STEAM Academy. Ms. Kathy Matthews, Werner Elementary School. Dr. Carla Cunningham, Woodward Career Academy. Dr. Pollock is accepting on her behalf tonight. Mr. Ethan Randall, Bashan High School. Dr. Christopher Crumble, Yateman Liddell Preparatory Middle School. These next 5 schools represent the schools who've earned 70% of their APR points and have met Pillar 1, Goal 1 of SLPS Transformation Plan 4.0. Dr. Stacy Franklin, Mason School of Academic and Cultural Literacy. Dr. LaRon Haymore, McKinley Classic Leadership Academy, Middle and High School. Dr. Tina Hamilton, Metro Academic and Classical High School. Mr. Frederick Steele, Collegiate School of Medicine and Bioscience. Dr. Robert Narrow, Betty Wheeler, Classical Junior Academy. And Dr. Sean Williams, Mallinckrodt Academy of Gifted Instruction. Congratulations to all of our school leaders. Would you please come forward so we can take a photo?
Can we have all the principals please come to the front for a large photo with Dr. Bordeshay, please? As you all come to the front, I would absolutely like to recognize all the principals for a job well done, as well as your staff. As statements have been made, how the district is a mess and we're not doing anything, it looks like what you all are doing is outstanding work. So please keep up the good work, principals and your staff. These are remarkable numbers to see the academic growth amongst our students. Job well done. Please keep it up. Thank you. Thank you once again to the administrators. Thank you to the staff, as well as the parents for their support. Before we go on, I want to recognize Dr. Millicent Border-Shade. Could you please stand? Principals, if you can fall back for just a moment, if you all can stay for just a moment, please. For just a moment. I want to make sure everyone understand, and I want to recognize Dr. Millicent Border-Shade. She has received her full superintendent certification by the state of Missouri. Thank you, Dr. Borshade, for your continuous commitment to St. Louis Public Schools. Good evening, everyone, once again. Tonight, we gather not only to reflect on the progress of our district, but also to celebrate achievements within SLPS and our leadership. Ms. Rhonda Stovall, are you here? Ms. Rhonda Stovall is not here, but she's a teacher of Gateway Elementary School and has been selected by the White House to receive the Presidential Award for Excellence in Mathematics and Science Teaching from Missouri in the Science Award category. This achievement reflects the significant contribution she has made to the teaching profession and in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And if I'm not mistaken, I think she received $10,000 for this award. I want to again extend our congratulations on behalf of the Board of Education. We want to recognize this in regards to Dr. Millicent Border-Shade. People don't understand, to get your superintendent certification, I think it's almost a year to 4 years to get a full certification. Is that safe to say, Vice President Davis? To get your certificate, your superintendent certification. She got it extremely quickly. So outstanding work in regards to that. As of January 2025, Dr. Border-Shade has achieved full superintendent certification, a milestone that highlights her commitment to growth and dedication to the students, families, and staff of St. Louis Public Schools. Dr. Border-Shade, on behalf of the Board of Education, we commend you for your steadfast leadership, vision, and determination. Your commitment to excellence and equity is inspiring, and we are confident that your leadership will continue to drive our district forward. Once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
With that said, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Border-Shade for our today's presentations. But before I do that, I do want to ask for the staff and students of Yateman to please stand. Upon the leadership of Dr. Crumble, most people don't know, Dr. Crumble was moved over to Yateman once Northwest was closed, and he was moved over to a middle school, which is here at Yateman. With his leadership and his awesome team, you guys have demonstrated the heart of what caring for and loving on our students really mean. And I just want to make sure you're recognized and commended for the hard work and the outstanding job that you all have been doing. To see the growth that you have in your reading and math is outstanding. And I hope to see the presentation that we're going to be getting from the services that's been provided here at Yateman, as well as the work that's been done. As we've stated before, the purpose of making sure that we're taking our board meetings on the road is for all to understand that the Prop S dollars that was approved to do improvements, Yateman is one of the schools that we have put massive improvements in. I know you all received a new roof. We have 3 or 4 restrooms that were done, some water fountains, water coolers. He's all the restrooms, I'm sorry, heating and cooling, you know, a lot of major upgrade that was much needed to this facility has been done, and that was on the support of the Prop S dollar. So I want to make sure you all are absolutely being recognized, and thank you for your hard work. I know for a fact enrollment has extremely changed in a good way for Yeatman, and it's to the point, I think you guys think you slick, y'all trying to have waiting lists. Never did we think we were here that at Yeatman, but outstanding work and keep it up. Thank you so much. And thank you for allowing us to be your guests. Dr. Boardishade, it's on you. Minutes, I'm sorry, I didn't see that on the agenda. I need a motion to approve minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the December 5th and the December 19th, 2024 minutes.
Second.
Any discussions?
I just want to point out, we are missing one set from December 10th. And because of the transition from Ms. Henry to Ms. Perry and Ms. Henry are going to work to get that done for the work session. Is that right?
Any other discussions? Ms. Perry?
Mr. Hikes,
Yes.
Ms. Weiss,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Davis, Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Ms. Cousins.
Yes.
Motion approved.
With that, we're going to go over to, I'll turn it over to Dr. Boardishade.
Thank you, Madam President. You know, they say it takes a village to make sure that our students have everything that they need. And here at Yeatman, there is a huge village that makes sure that all of the things that our students and staff need are presented. Tonight, we have a partnership that we're going to be talking about with Little Bit Foundation. And I'm just so excited, and the students were so excited to show us their boutique, their shopping center where they can go and get the things that they need. And so tonight, we're going to have Little Bit Foundation do a presentation and share all of the things that they have done for us here at Yeatman at the low cost of zero. Thank you.
It's on. Thank you so much, President Cousins, Board of Directors, and of course, Superintendent Boardishade. Thank you for having us here. Especially to our Yeatman family. I almost stood up when they said Yeatman staff stand up because we feel like we're a part of this team. When you talk about a village, it really does take a village. And we are just really proud to be a part of you allowing us to be here to serve your students. I will say, you know, when we go through this presentation, one of the things, I'm here with my Vice President of Programs. The thing about the Little Bit that makes it different is she lives a block away. And, you know, I have several people on staff that actually went to Yeatman, so this means a lot to us. We want to make sure we do have extra copies of the presentation if you guys got it? Okay. All right. Well, the Little Bit Foundation is actually 22 years old. We're going on our 23rd year, and our actual mission is to break down barriers to learning for under-resourced students through partnerships and programs that serve the needs of the whole child. So our basic goal is to make sure that we can provide what students need so that teachers can teach, so that you have a clear lane and make sure that kids have academic achievement. We have our core values and dignity, integrity, compassion, and excellence. And it's really interesting, if you look at our map, we actually serve 17,000 kids throughout the region at 54 schools. So we're actually serving 1 in 5 children living in poverty. We did some research when I started 3 years ago, and we found that if you look at students 90% free and reduced lunch above, there's about 68,000 students living in our region. So with that, we are striving to make sure that we are serving not only students in SLPS, but as north as Riverview, as south as Hancock Place, and we're over on the east side as well. We serve 20 schools in the St. Louis Public Schools. With those 20 schools, you know, a little bit started in St. Louis Public Schools. It started at Elliott Elementary, and then the first school that we actually had the program in when we started was in Mann Elementary. So we want to make sure that you guys know that, you know, it started right here in SLPS. And they're catching up with me on the slides there. But I want to honor this 5 minutes. So when you see the schools that we are in SLPS, it's Ashland, Bryan Hill, Columbia, Herzog, Hodgen, Humboldt, Long, International Middle School, Mann, Merrimack, Nance, Naheed Chapman, New American Academy, Naheed Middle, Naheed High School, Patrick Henry, Peabody, Pierre Leclerc, Siegel, Sumner, Walbridge, and of course, Yeatman. So we are really proud of all the schools that we serve. We serve our schools in a whole child model. So what we wanted to do is to look at the whole child. When Little Bit started, people know us as backpacks. They know us as making sure school kids have school essentials and also coats. They say, oh, they do coats. But what we try to do is to make sure that we serve the whole child. So we have what's called our whole child model. With that, we start with essentials, and that's what we talked about: uniforms, everyday clothing, shoes, coats, socks, underwear. If you think of it, it's kind of like an Amazon for kids. So when all the schools have access to our system, they put in an order for a kid and we fill that order brand new at our warehouse. It's brand new items. We bring them to the schools. Not only do we bring them to the schools, we try them on with the kids to make sure that they fit. And we even have seamstress that come and they'll help sew stuff up if we have to make sure that it doesn't, we let it a little bit out, it's a little bit too long. So with those essentials, we have those boutiques in all the schools. Then we have academic equity and enrichment. That's with our books and hands-on STEM programming, math, and tutoring. So with our books, and you can advance the slide, with our books, our hands-on STEM programs, we're able to do book fairs for all of our students. So we want to make sure every school kid gets at least 4 free books a year. So it's kind of like the Scholastic Book Fair. So we do 2 book fairs. Got it. We have 2 book fairs in the fall, 2 in the spring. We make sure the books are leveled. We make sure that they're culturally appropriate. We want to make sure the kids get stuff that they want to read. So that's part of it. We do a program, which is going to be getting some exciting news here pretty soon, called STEM Lingo, where we'll help teach kids how to do STEM programs in about 4 sessions. We also have a robotics club. So we do a lot of things in the equity enrichment. We also do health and nutrition, which is emergency supplemental food kits, our mobile food market, in-school family food markets, physicals, immunizations. We have a partnership with IFM and the St. Louis nurses from St. Louis University. They actually get their credits by helping to do classes with our kids, helping to do immunizations, and helping to do wellness exams. And if you're here at Yeatman, you see one of the food markets. There's 11 food markets that we operate. And this one is by far one of the very best. So kids are able to get groceries here for free. They get them once a week. The thing about the market here is that the kids actually run their own market. So they stock their own market. They let us know, we don't like this. This is not what we want to eat. And so we're able to stock that market. We also have college readiness. So we do mentoring, college fairs. We do some pathway work. One of the things that we do is 2 big career fairs, one at the beginning of the school year at 2 different locations at Harris-Stowe and St. Louis Community College. We have over 50 vendors that talk to kids about careers and colleges. And I was really proud to say that Lindenwood University gave over $180,000 worth of scholarships at our first fair. Harris-Stowe came and did another $40,000 worth of scholarships. So we are making sure that kids know about it, but also that they're getting the resources to go to school. Also, there's wellness and family support. So we just started doing case management. We're in 6 schools in St. Louis Public Schools. It's funded by the Missouri Health Board. We are so excited about being able to not only, do some things at the surface, but to dig deeper and to make sure that families have what they need at home. So we are able to serve those 6 schools and their families. We have 3 case managers, and we also contract with licensed professional counselors to do behavioral health. So that's all of what we do in a nutshell. I went pretty fast because I know I don't want y'all here all night, because I'll talk all night about what we do a little bit. But our highlights, we have the 9 in-school markets in SLPS. We have the health and wellness partnership with Centene. We talked a little bit about our family support team. So just so you know, and I'm moving on a couple slides here. I'm gonna go through it really fast. Our reach and impact. So it's important that you understand, last year, 2024, this is the fall, we did 10,997 total essentials distributed. Over 4,000 orders were fulfilled for basic needs, and we did 31 emergency orders. That means that we have to make sure that that gets to whoever needs it in 24 hours. We were able to get out 8,176 books And we had 12 book fairs in the schools. We also did for health and nutrition, 76 students were served through the mobile markets. 1,031 students received health screenings and immunizations through the program. College career readiness, we had 253 students attend our college career fair in the fall. We had 58 individuals that were supported through family case management and 75 students that received mental health counseling. And we did 15 classroom sessions on mindfulness. So that's just in one semester. So what we try to do is to make sure that at the end of every semester, we report out the things that we do. And I think one of the things, and I'm going to wrap up, because in here, it talks about each one of those things that I talked about in more detail, and it lists the schools that we actually do those things in. So you as board members will know where we do essentials, where we do health and nutrition. There they go. Where we serve for college and career readiness. Where we do wellness and family support. The one thing that I want to make sure that you all also understand is that we take a lot of time to make sure that we're aligned with the MSIP 6 standards. So we know that as a school district, we want to make sure that everything is going back to student achievement. So when we look at our alignment, we want to make sure that success ready students, that aligns with our college career readiness, high quality career education, all our interpersonal skills. So all of these things, we're making sure that they're aligned, and that if you guys know what we do and you're writing it into your MSIP programs, that it counts toward making sure that we make sure that this district, that our district is fully accredited. So we're really excited about the work and even digging deeper to find out where those alignments are so that we can be a really productive part of this school community. So that's a little bit in a nutshell. And I'll say, the way that we're funded, and it's not in the presentation, is that we raise all the money. So this is at no cost to St. Louis Public Schools, at no cost. So our investment is about $1.6 million that we invest a year in SLPS. And this is through, this is through individual donations, corporations, wherever we can get it from, we get it and we put it right back into the schools. And again, thank you guys so much for letting us do this work. It means a lot to us because most of us are kids from the same kind of communities that we serve now. I'm from East St. Louis, so I understand what it means to need a village around us. And we're just really proud to be a part of your village.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Ms. Miranda? Board Member Hubbard.
This is just a quick one because you spoke so quickly and you did a great job. But can you say who was funding the family case management?
Yes, we're Missouri Health Board. So we have a 3-year grant. They actually extended it to 4 years. So we have a grant that covered us for the 4 years to do case management in the schools.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Vice President Davis.
Yeah, I wanted to just talk just a little bit more about case management and specifically what the case managers do, why that's important, and how they work with school staff, social workers, counselors, and then maybe even the students and transition staff.
Great question. So right now we have 3 case managers. I'm trying to make sure I can see you as I'm answering. So with our case managers, all of them are master level and above. One of them actually gets her master's in about 2 weeks. So we're really excited for her. But what they are doing is they work alongside the counselors, the school counselors. So if there's a case, if you have a school that has 30 cases and the school counselor, they actually triage them. They talk about, so we have 30, can you take these 15? I'm going to concentrate on the other 15. And that could be anything from homelessness, helping them to do food insecurity. So what we do is we do a assessment to make sure that we find out what's going on with the families, that we have permission to go further with that family. A lot of times our case managers are really down to earth. So we are able to get those parents to really want to to work with our case managers. We get their permission and then we go and we have a list of partners. I'm gonna say this, what Little Bit does, we can't do alone. So we work with a ton of different partners, the St. Louis Area Food Bank, many shelters, a lot of other nonprofits. And so then we try to make sure that we can get them those resources they need. St. Vincent de Paul, for example, you have a family that doesn't have furniture or they need clothes. We have a direct contact with St. Vincent de Paul. We get them there. They help them. They give them a voucher so they can get all the things that they need. So it's really about rapidly attaching them to services. And if we find out that there's more mental health services, we're able to make a direct referral to our list of mental health providers that we have contracted with.
And one last question, in addition to donating to your organization to help offset that $1.6 million expense or investment, let's call it, into our students, can people volunteer with your organization?
We need volunteers all day, every day. So we strive to have 2 volunteers at every school, and we want volunteers that we background check them. We make sure that they're trained, but we also want them to be here so they're consistent. So they're, you know who the volunteers are coming in your school. We don't have enough. So we probably have a good 50 volunteers that are regular volunteers right now. And some of them go to 2 or 3 locations. So having volunteers, we love to connect with churches that are in the neighborhoods or other organizations to try to make sure that we can get consistent volunteers in the schools, as well as to help in our warehouse, because we pack those items. We make sure we sort through books. So we have lots of volunteer opportunities. That's probably one of the #1 ways that you can help, to offset that investment, because we have a small staff. It's 38 of us. And we got 17,000 students. So what we do, we cannot do without volunteers.
And I bring that up because I know there's a lot of times people want to volunteer in the schools. And while that's always certainly welcome and there is a need, sometimes that can be a bit of a burden on the staff because they're busy doing everything they need to do. So reaching out to an organization, particularly your organization, may be an easier way for people to get trained, to get background checked, to get prepared, and then to come into the schools turnkey to do what they need to do.
Absolutely. If someone volunteers to a little bit and they need to do other things in the schools, they're gonna get background checked and everything, and making sure that we train them. And so if they're a volunteer here, they can do other things. So I think that's a great way to leverage our volunteer corps, because once you have your 2 volunteers at Yale, I think you guys had the same volunteers forever that were here, and they would not let them go to any other school. So, they become a part of the fabric in the schools that they serve.
Thank you. I know Vice President Davis was touching on some of the services and your funding sources and the volunteers that you need. But can you touch a little bit more on you talked about case management, but I want to kind of do a walk so people can understand how the Little Bit Foundation actually work in conjunction with our students in transitions entity within the district. I know that there was a situation at one of the high schools where unfortunately a parent passed, the mom passed, and I know we were working close on that case. Can you kind of give us an overview of kind of where Little Bit Foundation and Student in Transition, how you guys kind of came together? Because I know that the students, there was brothers that you guys were really played an integral part in that, and how you guys really work in conjunction with Dr. Thomas Murray and her staff.
Yeah, so there's so many cases. That particular one hit home because that particular student is a kid that we serve through our mentoring program I don't know if I should say the school because I don't want to put the kid's business out there, but it was in our mentoring program. And so we knew the kid, and when the kid, the parent passed, we were probably one of the 3rd, 4th people that the school called to say, hey, you might want to check on your boy because he is hurting right now. He needs some help. And we did just that. So we called found out what was going on, helped him to get funeral clothes. We had some conversations to make sure where he was going to go because, you know, he was with the primary parent, the other parent didn't live in district. So we started trying to work with where he's actually going to stay so that he can stay in the school. And it was so important for him to stay in that school because he, you know, just was such a part of the fabric of the school that we really worked with the principal, with the transition team to go through all of his different resources. And I'll tell you that the more personal thing is when he says, and this is a bigger kid, or really, we serve little bitty kids. This one was really big. He was probably about a 4X. And his brother was at a different school. His brother's skinny but tall. We were like, oh my gosh, you know, so we had to special order to make sure that they had everything that they needed so they would be prepared for their the services of their parent. And I mean, we'll do anything once we talk and say, hey, we got this. Do you have that? It's really a total partnership. And it's almost like, again, triaging a case where you have many different practitioners in a room and people say, I'm going to take this part, you're going to take this part, and that we make sure that there's a seamless services for that particular kid.
Well, I just want to commend and thank you, the Little Bit Foundation, for your partnership. And just let the people know that your partnerships means a lot, especially the services that you've provided to the children. I did have an opportunity to go see your operation. I know, unfortunately, you guys were faced with a flood at your previous location, but to see the work and the passion that you have is definitely why I see us partnering with you, and I will hope we continue this partnership. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, Superintendent. Thank you, President. Thank you, Board, for letting us be here. And we do have a new location. We have a new permanent location. So we'll invite you all when we cut the ribbon and do all the things. But thank you so much for letting us be here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Borshay?
Thank you. And now we will hear more from Dr. Dino regarding our academics.
Good evening, President Cousins, members of the board, Dr. Bodishale. I'm here tonight to provide you with updates from our academics office. The SLPS strategic values are at the center of all we do in academics. And tonight, our updates actually highlight each of these values. The student success goals help keep us focused on student growth, progress, and supporting all of our students to meet their dreams. Tonight, you'll see our portrait of our graduate competencies come alive as we think about the areas of communication, students becoming communicators, becoming competent, college and career ready, being culturally aware. Our agenda this evening is some highlights from our English to Speakers of Other Language program, our early College Academy dual enrollment, a short update on athletics as it relates to uniforms specifically, and adult education. You can see that approximately 15.6% of our SLPS students speak a language other than English at home. Multilingualism is a superpower, and these students bring that to school with them every day. While the vast majority of these students, you'll note, enroll at the start of the year, you can see that we welcome new students and new families every single day. Family engagement is key to the success of our students. To that end, our ELL department hosts several family events throughout the year, including ELL Science Hour, Bake a Book, Math Hour, Create and Tell, and an author celebration at the end of the year. So far this year, 519 students and families have participated in these events. And we're only halfway done. Events are not the only way that we engage with families. Meaningful ongoing communication is key to student success. Our district interpreters have provided 11,203 instances of interpretation to families over the course of this year. Those families represent over 50 countries and over 60 languages. And our staff works to ensure that all of them receive information in ways that is comprehensible to them. We also started this year in every school, we have provided access to Language Link. You'll see the picture on the screen here, and I'm wearing my Language Link card on my lanyard tonight. The language line allows any staff member to pick up any phone and call the language line to get instant on-demand interpreting in languages so that they can reach out to students. This helps if someone needs to go to the nurse office if they're sick, or if they forgot something at home. There's ways that now, instead of having to have someone come to the school and interpret, we can make the phone call right away. If parents come into the school can call the language line and have an immediate conversation with them. Well, this isn't something that we would do for really long meetings or anything. For on-demand interpretation, this is a way that we can provide more access to families more quickly. You'll also see that so far this year, since we've started, we've provided 2,439 instances of those interpretations. Our staff have also translated 86 documents and wrote and recorded already 24 robocalls this year. We know English learners benefit from specific high-impact teaching strategies to support both their language development and their academic achievement. To that end, we focus on content and language objectives, linguistic supports, and peer interaction. Our professional development supports have helped teachers learn co-teaching strategies so they can, general education teachers and ELL teachers can teach alongside each other. Other strategies that support planning and instruction is called SIOP. So far, we have 134 educators who've completed co-teaching training and 160 educators currently engaged in SIOP training. These are all voluntary trainings that teachers work on so that they can learn more ways to best engage students so that, again, their language and their academics can develop side by side. Some highlights from this first semester: 85% of our observed classrooms had posted content and language objectives for students, and 72% of classrooms were observed incorporating intentional linguistic supports. We know when we make the language that we use in classrooms comprehensible for students, they can grow and they can show us what's happening, what they're learning. All of our students, their brains are developing, whether they're developing in English only or in English in multiple languages. It's our job as educators to access what's happening inside so that they can share what they're learning. You might also wonder, we've talked about what we've seen changes in teacher practice. What does that mean for students? Over the course of the school year, our ELL students participate in benchmark assessments that measure their learning in the language domains. Those language domains are reading, writing, listening, and speaking. So far, we've done 2 assessments in speaking and writing. And you'll note here, these are the schools where they were greater than 50% of students growing in speaking and writing over the course of the year. In speaking, we have Dewey, Mann, Woodward, Long, and Soldan. And in writing, Wooter, Dewey, Malamphy, Werner, Woodward, and Soldan. Many of those principals were also here tonight for their APR. All of the students and all of their growth comes together. And so all of these pieces should be celebrated as well. Once a year, all students who are speakers of other languages who qualify for support services are required by federal law to take an English language proficiency assessment. The assessment used by the state of Missouri is the Access for ELLs. We're just getting ready to start that. We'll be just starting that assessment now. The assessment window opened on January 13th and will go through February 28th. And all of the students who participate in ELL services will get this assessment, and that will help us see even more how much they're growing in language development. So that is my update about English language learners. We're going to shift now to talk about our early college academy and dual enrollment.
And we have some of our families here
We do.
to share their testimonies.
Absolutely.
Thank
Each
you.
spring, we have up to 55% of our SLPS high school students that attend Harris-Stowe State University college level or college preparatory classes 2 days a week. The students will be starting this semester, haven't quite yet started, but we are really excited tonight that we have several students and families who've graduated from that program who are here to talk about the impact that those classes and that programming has made on their lives. I also want to make note that these are courses and activities designed to provide students with an opportunity to earn college credit and supports their goals for graduation. Throughout the remainder of this year, we're going to be highlighting various dual enrollment programs at our upcoming board meetings, and the next update will focus on our Harrison Center program through the St. Louis Community College. But right now, I'm going to introduce Mr. Reinald Jackson, who is going to share with us our students and families.
Good evening. Thank you so much, Dr. Dino. Protocol having been established, this is a great opportunity. I'm so thrilled to introduce some of our heroes, some of our scholars who have gone through the program, and I'm going to do my best to make sure this part is under 3 minutes. I would like to introduce Raquel Murphy. She is a recent graduate of Clyde C. Miller and participated in the program last year. She's going to share her experience and her favorite book that she's reading.
Hello, I am Raquel Murphy. I am currently a second semester freshman at Harrisdale State University, and I graduated from Class C Miller Career Academy. My major is currently biology, but I'm thinking about going into like either biometrics or something doing with genetics. But like when I graduate, I plan on working in a hospital where we develop medicine for cancer. And oh, the dual enrollment program helped me because it gave me a jump start. Like, if I didn't take those classes, I feel like I would have been drowning, but they gave me like, oh, this is what college, this is what you have to do. You actually have to study, you actually have to go to classes, you actually have to be on top of everything. And then it also helped me with time management because I was not good at that. But I know now, like in between classes, what to do, what not to do, and how to better succeed. And I'm going to put this little thing in there, but I just finished my semester. I had 3 A's and 2 B's.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Is your mom, Ms. Forland, here?
Her
Okay,
mom didn't make it.
okay. Well, congratulations. Great job.
We now will have sisters Renaya and Nyla Taylor and their mother, Maisha.
Hello, my name is Naila Taylor. I was a graduate of the Collegiate School of Medicine and Bioscience, and I graduated in 2020, year of COVID. So I will say that initially I didn't know about doing dual enrollment because collegiate does have a very advanced curriculum. And so taking on college classes on top of that, I wasn't really sure about it, but Harrisdale was my mom's alma mater. And I was like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's pile everything on. And I will say that the staff at Harrisdale really helped me through it because there was times where I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna break down. I got 2 papers due in college. I got 3 papers due in high school. And I'm supposed to be retaking my ACT. I don't know what to do. And then on top of that, the second half, which was digital. So really missing that face-to-face interaction with both my high school and college professors was difficult for me. But I will say that my college professors really helped me and stepped up, and I ended up getting some acknowledgement award about my grades while I was in college and high school. And then I didn't go straight into college due to COVID, but I took a 3-year gap, and I was actually still in touch with one of my main professors. And she was like, girl, do not let anyone discourage you. You come back to school when you are ready. And I think you are ready now. So you should go ahead and reapply, come back to us, and we're waiting for you. And my freshman year, I served as the vice president of my class. I'm currently the vice president of the drama program, and I can say that I'm meeting even more amazing staff that is really helping me through my process, helping me be able to help other students through their process. So I am very appreciative to the program.
Hi, my name is Renaya Taylor. I went to Central Visual Performing Arts. I graduated in 2023. And I did the dual enrollment program at Hursto. I learned about it from my counselor. And I'm actually kind of happy that I did it because even though I was taking AP classes in high school, it did give me a better sense of independence when it came to, because my school was performing arts. So we like class, dance, class, dance. But then I was doing class, dance. So it's like it gave me more academic structure. And also, after taking the dual enrollment, I was offered a Board of Regents scholarship at Harris Stowe. So I took that, and then doing dual enrollment, they helped me with filling out my FAFSA, also applying for the Missouri Access Grant, and then another grant that gave me an extra $1,000. And I also met a lot of great staff, and I keep in touch with Ms. Noy and Mr. Jackson, and I'm hopefully gonna be a mentor for the new kids that come in next year. Well, this semester. So, yeah.
Good evening. My name is Maisha Ellison. I have been employed with St. Louis Public Schools as a computer science teacher for 25 years. And those are my lovely children. I really appreciate the dual enrollment program because it's cost and time effective. And as they mentioned, it gave them a head start on doing collegiate level courses. And as they also mentioned, the staff was very inviting at Harrisville, and they were able to form personal relationships with them in class and outside of class. And they still keep in touch with those professors. And it's a relief as a parent because it takes some of the burden off of me to have them in a program that's going to ease their mind and boost their confidence to go to the next level. So thank you.
Thank you. Well done, Mom. Well done.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the graduate from our first cohort, Jamara Jones.
I have some notes because my mind will run off and keep talking. Hello, everyone. My name is Mara Jones. I would first like to say ditto to everything that everyone else has said. The Finish Line program has definitely been a stepping stone for me in my life. I graduated from Roosevelt High School. I was in the first cohort of the Finish Line program, as you've seen. I actually started whenever we only took developmental level courses at Harris. So now I've been able to see, go through and actually mentor the new students who had gone through the program and then actually work for the program later on, and see the difference in how the program started versus the direction that it was going in. This then also led me to getting my presidential scholarship from Harris-Stowe State University later on down the line. Thank you. And I was also a first generation college graduate. So that just put more emphasis on me doing the things that I was doing, being able to go through debt-free with the experience that I was able to gain early in high school. Just a disclaimer, I did not think I would be going to college as a first generation college grad now. So seeing myself even go through something that I never would have thought I would have done, at that for free too. So that definitely led me to even more things moving forward. I eventually was introduced to the Bridge program. So I went straight into college right after the dual enrollment program. After that ended up leading to more confidence in school participation. I did not plan on doing much at the school, but I did end up being the vice president of the sophomore class. I also got to participate in Poise modeling troupe within its first few years. I sat on the SGA board. I was also a student liaison for Harris-Stowe's board of for Harris-Stowe's board, and a plethora of other things, including community service and more. I then graduated. I got a head start in college, of course. So I graduated in 3 years with cum laude. Thank you. After that, I was hired on at Harris-Stowe as the early college coordinator, and I was stationed actually out in Normandy area, working in the community impact center that we had out there for a while, and being able to be a liaison and the part of the coordination of the dual enrollment program. So I got to help them with that, and then also lead into more mentorship as some of the students came into Harris-Stowe in their next coming years. I ended up working with a lot of them, just talking to them generally, as well as offering them volunteer opportunities in the role that I had there. Now I'm currently pursuing my master's in applied behavioral analysis to be able to support the underserved children in our underserved communities, really learning about what all is needed to be able to help the child as a whole. And I am currently working for the Greater St. Louis Area Scouting as the outreach executive. So I get to work directly in our underserved communities, directly in some of your schools. We do have scouting programs in Peabody and even Adams Park, connected Adams Park Boys and Girls Club, that connection right there. We're able to utilize that to directly connect with Adams Elementary, as well as a few other schools that are around the area. I've even gotten the chance to work with the JROTC programs at all of the high schools in SLPS, and we actually have 5 units with them where we are able to take them out to our Discovery Base camp, just straight down 44, about 45 minutes away, just getting them out of the schools and into something that really nourishes their soul from all different angles. So they were able to go rock climbing and do archery and see some horses. And we're hoping to have more of an opportunity to do more of that with them, and even give them more of the other things that we have there as well too. And then I've just honestly been able to just do a number of other things with the confidence that the Finish Line program has given me in my networking and in the people that I've met along the way. A lot of those people have now become my family. So I really do appreciate those little parts of that. I've even been able to be a part of the MOU process between Scouting and SLPS as well too. So I do appreciate all of the experience that I've gotten from just that one program that gave me those first stepping stones. And now it's even helping me. Mr. Jackson likes for me to talk about my dream, but I do want to have a nonprofit home for neglected children and families one day. I want it to be a whole shebang. So I'm using all of these opportunities that you all have given me, as well as the city of St. Louis, to be able to push forward in my career and in my dreams. So thank you.
Thank you.
And last but not least, you really begin to develop a sense of trust when you have your children in the school district and in our select programs. And who else to talk about that than one of our parents, who is also our resident pastor, Pastor Norris. Now, we may not need a full sermon.
I did ask my son what he would say if he was here. I guess I'll approach this from the other side of the spectrum. She graduated cum laude. My son crossed the stage and said, "Thank you, Lottie." But it did really boost his confidence. He did not think he would be going to college. In fact, he was told that he would not graduate from high school on time. that he would be credit deficient, and that he would not go to a university. In fact, they told me that, you know, community colleges were fine, and had a few choice words for them to kind of discourage someone in that regard. Well, I stand here today. He did graduate on time. Well, I should say that was before he came to St. Louis Public Schools. So he came to St. Louis Public Schools and he did graduate on time. He is currently enrolled at Harris Stowe University in his second year. And he said that he really liked, he was not thinking about the Finish Line program. That was my idea, simply because he just didn't think he could do it. But he finished high school with 9 credit hours. And he really liked the program. He said the teachers, he really appreciated. And I just thank God for what he was able to do. He's currently majoring in computer science and is doing well. And now he actually believes that he can finish and will finish college. So I thank God for the school system. I put my money where my mouth is, and I put my resources where my children are. So that's why I'm here. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Dino. I do want to shout out the wonderful colleague who's a counselor for the program, who is on the ground working with the students, Mrs. Juma Fenoy.
Thank you. It's so great to hear directly from students the impact that the programs we have on them, and we really appreciate that they all came out tonight. The next update from our academics department is in the area of athletics, and I want to talk a little bit with you tonight. There's so much with athletics, but we're going to keep our focus real narrow on uniforms and equipment. That's what we're interested in right now. Uniforms are on a 3-year cycle, and equipment and supplies needed are updated as purchased. What that means is each school and sport can expect to receive new uniforms once every 3 years. That doesn't mean if something is needed because it's broken or something got destroyed that we can't replenish as necessary, but we have a cycle. Not every school and not every sport is on the same cycle, but everyone can expect to receive new uniforms once every 3 years. Sometimes out of cycle purchasing occurs when the National Federation of High School Sports updates their equipment requirements, because they could say, oh, actually in this sport, you actually need to start using this type of ball or this type of equipment. And then we of course get those things. And sometimes there's unforeseen circumstances. There may be flooding in a storage area, which requires us to ensure that we have new equipment for students. The way uniforms are purchased is that school athletic directors submit replacement uniform and equipment requests to the district athletic director, and then all of those purchases are made. One highlight is a recent wrestling purchase for Clyde C. Miller. This page here shows you all of the athletic uniform and equipment purchases for the last 4 school years. You will note that the expenditures have been going up. The costs of athletic equipment have been increasing heavily, just like they have for many things, but there's lots of equipment costs and supply chain issues where things just cost more now than they did before. I want to call your attention over to the 24-25 line. Those are the uniform and equipment costs that we've had so far this year. You will see this chart is organized by sport, so how much equipment purchases are happening by sport. And I want to highlight some things because every school has had uniform purchases this school year so far. At CSMB, we've purchased women's soccer uniforms. Gateway STEM has ordered women's volleyball, basketball, and soccer uniforms, men's soccer, cross country, basketball and baseball uniforms. McKinley has ordered men's basketball and cross country uniforms. And track and women's track as well. At Metro, they ordered men's basketball and baseball uniforms. Clyde C. Miller, in addition to wrestling, they ordered women's basketball and tennis uniforms. At Roosevelt, there have been football, men's basketball and wrestling, and women's volleyball uniforms. Solden has had new football uniforms. Sumner's has ordered soccer and basketball uniforms for both men and women, and Vashon has ordered men's basketball uniforms. So we are continuing to replenish uniforms. I called those out to show that not every school in every sport needs the same uniforms in any given school year, but we do have a replenishment cycle to ensure that schools get what it is that they need. And like I said before, if there is additional needs for schools, their athletic directors can make those requests of the athletic department. Again, this chart is the uniform and equipment purchases. I just highlighted our uniform purchases. We also purchase new balls, new tennis rackets, sometimes new kick things for the football, sometimes new knee pads, like other safety equipment as well.
Dr. Dino, I have a
Yes.
question.
Mhm.
When you're saying, I see the sports that you have listed, are we including like the band? We don't include that as part of the athletes? Because I think part of the presentation that was provided to us before, that like band, like the drum and bugle corps, that they really fall up under this and as well. And I'm asking because I never see or know if the students are receiving uniforms or the necessary equipment that they need.
So for some of those programs, like some of the drum lines, like at Carlane, they don't live within the athletic department. They live within their schools.
Okay.
And the schools, some of the schools have said that they prefer things to live in the school so they can make those more immediate needs. I'm happy to put together for all of our bands across the school district what equipment and uniforms have looked like for that. I don't have that accessible right at this moment, but I'm happy to put that together.
Okay. Secretary Jones.
So I'm interested in finding out how many bands we actually have that we're supplying uniforms for in the district, because I can't right off the top of my head think of which schools have bands.
Yeah, I don't want to rely on my memory since I don't have my notes tonight, but I'll be happy to gather that information and share it with Dr. Borchade as well.
The high schools?
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Okay, great. Now we're going to move on to adult education. St. Louis Public Schools Adult Education Literacy and Community Engagement Program is committed to comprehensive education and career training for adults in our community. And our program serves close to 1,200 adults each year. All of these are students who are without a diploma or high school equivalent. They currently or may be unemployed or they're underemployed, and those who wish to improve their literacy and numeracy skills to acquire new vocational certifications. SLPS Adult Education provides all students with a supportive learning environment and skills to acquire that lead to personal growth, job advancement, English proficiency, and parent involvement. There we go. We do have some upcoming plans and programs. We have our vocational training program expansion. We'll be adding new training courses in emerging fields such as digital marketing, cybersecurity, and healthcare. We'll be partnering with more local businesses and industry leaders to provide practical training and internship opportunities for the participants in our adult ed programs. We will be adding services such as mentorship program expanded to one-on-one support guidance and support for learners. And we are increasing access to mental health and wellness resources for our adult ed students. We are creating awareness campaigns to make sure we are reaching all populations to encourage any adults who may qualify to enroll in our program and strengthen our partnerships with community organizations and resources for sharing and collaboration. We apply comprehensive evaluation mechanisms to conduct regular assessments to ensure that our programs are meeting the needs of our community and that we can be responsive to anything that arises. We have Mr. Spencer McCall here tonight, our interim director of adult education and one of our students. We'll introduce one of our students to share her experience.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your time and grace tonight. Dr. Dino gave a very good snapshot of what adult ed is. And so I would like to take time now to introduce Miss Wanda Reynolds. I would love to be able to tell her story, her amazing story of her journey, but I would imagine that she could tell it better than anyone can. So if you would join me in welcoming Miss Wanda Reynolds.
Hello, everyone. My name is Wanda Reynolds. I am a graduate of the program. I will be starting college spring of this year for mortuary science. I am going to be I'm going to be opening up a funeral home to help each family members that lost a loved one and grieving. And I just wanted to say how great the program was. I received a lot of help um, from different subjects that I needed help in, such as tutoring. I received help from, I want to say, from Miss Key, that was a teacher that was there. And I also received tutoring from the tutor that came in. His name is Bob. And any type of help that I did need from any type of teacher that was there, they was there to assist me. And it was just good. It was fun. And I went through a lot of grieving one of my teachers I did lose during the time I was getting prepared to take a test. And her name is Miss Emerson, and she was a great teacher. She taught us about African heritage and everything. On Wednesdays, we would come in our African attire and we would talk more about African things such as the heritage and what what we was made for and what we I'm a little nervous, I'm sorry, but
You're doing fine.
okay, but yeah, she really did help us. The teachers there were very helpful. Anything that we needed help with, or if I needed help with anything, if they didn't have the answer, they would go out and find it and to help and encourage me personally to go forward. And during my grieving time for us missing the teacher, they was very helpful and understanding. And if I happened to kind of take off a day or two for me grieving, they would understand and they would call me to see if I was okay and just talk about it. So the program was really good, and I try now to encourage anyone to let everyone know that you're not too old to get your high set, and you're not too old to continue to proceed with your goals. So I tell everybody that I'm Benjamin Button because I am 51. So that being said, I'm just happy that I was able to join the program and continue. And yeah, I'm going to be starting college spring of this year for mortuary science. Yeah. It's so,
Congratulations. Just so excited with you.
and that's it. Thank you.
So that concludes the brief updates from the academics office today. We're always really excited to share with you the depth and breadth of our work, and I'm really pleased that we were able to share some student voices with you as well, because they're the why for what we're doing, and we want to make sure that it's making an impact on them. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dino. Is there any questions for Dr. Dino? Board Member Wise?
Thank you so much, Dr. Dino. Could you share with us a little bit about the educators who are teaching the adult education program? Who are they, and how do you all, how does that operate? How do you hire and select teachers for the adult education program?
So our hiring for all staff follows a similar, you have to meet the qualifications, there's an interview and those pieces, and they really have to have a heart for wanting to work with adult learners as opposed to maybe kindergartners or preschoolers. And Mr. McCall and his team have done a really good job of working together and making sure that they are collaborating in all their instruction for students.
Board Member Hubbard?
What is the capacity for this program? Like, how many students could we be serving?
We can serve up to 1,200 over the course of a school year. They're not all there every single day. Yeah.
Thanks.
Vice President Davis?
I wanted to jump back to Early College Academy. Is Early College Academy available for students in every high school, or is it only specific high schools?
There are, I can't see very well. There are, no, excuse me, there are early college academy programs available in all high schools, but they're not every program that we have is available in all high schools. We're working on making sure that things can be more broadly available across schools, but there is a early college academy available for all high school students.
And in addition to Early College Academy, opportunities for students to get college credit while enrolled in SLPS at no cost to the student and family would also include dual enrollment at St. Louis Community College.
Yes.
And I noticed that you're going to talk about Harrison Center in a future presentation.
Yeah,
I'm
so
excited about that.
we'll be, because each of those dual enrollment programs has their own, in some senses, specialization about how they operate. We'll be bringing each of them forward separately, so you can hear about the nuances between each of them.
And then a third route to get college credit would be AP classes.
Yes.
So that's 3 routes available in every high school for students in St. Louis Public Schools to get college credit.
Yes, and they're for students who are enrolled in our IB program, some colleges offer credit for IB coursework and the tests, passing those tests and receiving an IB diploma as well.
Great. I thank you for clarifying and stating that opportunity available to all of our students in all of our schools for free. I wanted to also jump back I feel like maybe we had this information before, but are there ELL students and programs in all of our schools, or are there only specific schools that, and you had a long list of schools that had some accolades in terms of their achievement with ELL students, but are those programs available in all the schools, or are students placed in certain schools with those services?
So families always have a choice about if they want to attend their neighborhood school. We have our newcomer programs, the NCNAA programs for students up to their first 2 years. And then several of our schools host what are called ELL centers. And so there are more concentrations of students and staffing support. But if a family wants to attend their neighborhood school or opt into join the magnet lottery or something and go to a school that's not a center school or not the newcomer program, that is their option as well. Each family goes through a registration process with the ELL department where they talk to them about all of their options.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Are there any other questions for Dr. Dino? Thank you, Dr. Dino, for an outstanding presentation. Thank you for all that were able to come and share their remarkable stories. We did not have an opportunity to see or hear, but we've heard a lot about Harris Stowe, and I want to publicly acknowledge and thank Harris Stowe for the partnership with Dr. Tanya Collins Smith for a job well done. So thank you so much. Dr. Borshaday.
Tonight, we're going to hear from our Executive Director of Finance, who's going to be talking to us about our bond issuance. And I'm wanting us to make a connection regarding our projects that we have started and the reason that we are moving forward with our request for a bond issuance. Thank you.
Before you begin, congratulations, Ms. Stephanie Terry, on your position as Executive Director of Finance.
Thank you so much. Greetings, President Cousins, Vice President Davis, members of the board, and Interim Superintendent Dr. Borshaday. I'm a little nervous, so just excuse. So. Okay. So the values across our student goals, the district financial goals are aligned with the strategic values to support our student goals always. So for the bond issuance in August of 2022, the voters of the district approved the issuance of $160 million for Prop S in general obligation bonds. So in April of 2023, $135 million worth of bonds were issued for Prop S. So I present to the board, recommend a motion for the board to approve the remaining $25 million for Prop S. So the next steps is to bring to the board will be asked to approve a resolution to proceed. In March, the managing director for Stiefel will present an update to the board. The board will be then asked to approve and sign the bond purchase agreement and documents. In March of 2025, the bond proceeds will be distributed to the district. Any questions?
So, sorry, I'm over here.
Vice President Davis.
Okay, so just to clarify, so the item on our consent agenda tonight is to authorize, basically authorizing Stiefel to go to market, and they'll come back in March with another proposal to proceed for the purchase or the sale, sorry.
Correct.
Okay.
So in February, I'll bring before the board the resolution to proceed, which is a document that needs to be signed by the board.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Board Member Hubbard.
Can you remind all of us where the public can find information about what Prop S has done?
So currently, we can pull a report for all Prop S spending on what was completed, what is ongoing, and any future projects, and we can present that to Dr. Boris-Sade.
That's so, it's on
And
the
there's a
website. There's a dashboard. It's a website.
Yeah, that's really what I'm.
The dashboard is on our website. So
Okay. And also, how do you want us to say your name?
Boris-Sade.
Okay, that's the accepted pronunciation. Okay, I'm sorry we've been saying it wrong for so long.
Is there any other questions for Ms. Terry? Any other questions? Any other questions? Thank you, ma'am.
thank you.
Great job, Ms. Terry.
Thank you.
Dr. Boris-Sade.
We're going to move into communications at this time. And Mr. Mitchell is going to be sharing with us or giving us an update on our registration process that will begin January 21st. We are waiting on Mr. Mitchell to begin our next presentation.
Good evening, Dr. Boris-Sade. Yes, yes, sir. Good evening, Board President Cousins, the entire Board of Education, listening audience. My wife is probably looking on YouTube. Good evening to you. Harper and Parker, you got 6 minutes to bedtime, so you can watch the replay on YouTube tomorrow. But I'm here again just to give you an update about our open registration plans. And go ahead and start here. I'll remind you what our strategic values are. And you will see highlighted here are authentic family and community partnership. You will hear more about that throughout the presentation. And of course, joyful and engaged students. They've got to obviously be here to be engaged. And so that's what's very important to us. I'll remind you about our student success goals, third grade reading and math, college and career readiness, and culture and climate. And of course, our portrait of a graduate. We are training our students to be college and career ready change agents who are critical thinking communicators, who are competent, culturally aware collaborators. So for the agenda, I'll give you just a brief review of what the open registration process looks like. I know we talked about it last month. I'll just remind you of a few of those details. I'll give you a marketing and communications update. Then I'll talk about training and outreach, as well as some of the family support that we are providing. In addition, I'm going to talk to you about I'm going to give you an update on the process itself. So as you may remember, the open registration generally, or I should say historically, P3 through 11th grade are rolled over in our student information system, or SIS as we call it. And so they rolled over from one year to the next. So if you're at Yateman in the 7th grade, we will roll you over to Yateman in the 8th grade. And if you were eligible in the 7th grade for transportation, we will create a route for you in the 8th grade. We found that this has some inefficiencies. And so we're working to be more efficient as we provide transportation for all of our eligible families. So this year, we're asking all of our families, whether they are current or prospective, to register beginning a week from today on January 21st. Parents will need to now opt in for transportation. And we also will ask parents to sign up for before or aftercare earlier than we've done before. So as I talk about marketing and advertising, running this week are television commercials. I'll give you a sneak peek here in a moment. It's also available on our website, slps.org. So we're running TV commercials on network TV, which includes Channel 2, KTVI, Channel 4, KMOV, Channel 5, KSDK, and Channel 11, KPLR. It's also running on cable TV for Spectrum, for Spectrum customers who live within the city limits. And so if you watch Wheel of Fortune tomorrow, you'll see our ad on Channel 5. If you watch the evening news on Channel 4, you will see our ad playing. If you watch reality TV and don't tell people about it, don't worry, you'll see our ad there as well. And in addition to ESPN and several other channels on cable TV, you'll also see it digitally. As you look at some websites, before they load the video you're going to see, or you're trying to watch, you'll see our ad play before your video of choice plays. You'll also see digital ads. We're also running in the St. Louis American, which fans know run on Thursday. So on Thursday, when you pick up your St. Louis American, on the front page below the fold, you'll see a banner encouraging registration. I also want to point out that we've obviously launched an internal campaign as well for our current students. So thank you to the 9,000 plus families who've read Dr. Borschade's newsletter in the January edition, which is where we sort of launched this campaign. In addition to that, you can go to our website right now, that www.slps.org/register is live. So you can get some more information about what we're doing throughout these efforts. You also next week will see our billboard ads and street poster ads as we hit the January 21st date and registration officially opens. I'm going to go ahead and show you an ad here. This is a 30-second ad. And, the idea here was that this is a real SLPS student. And we thought it was important that you hear our students' voice. These are students where, our schools are full of these students who have ambition and dreams and vision. And we want you to hear from our students tell you about the pride that they take in their school district.
I'll talk about us, but let us tell you who we are. We are home to 3 national blue ribbon schools and Missouri's #1 high school. We are the next generation of St. Louis icons, continuing our rich legacy. We are college and career ready, preparing for our future today. Registration starts January 21st. Go to www.slps.org/register. We are SLPS.
So again, if you want to take a second look at that, you can see it on our website, or you can see it on several channels throughout the St. Louis region. I want to tell you a little bit about that student in particular. His name is Moses. He is a history buff, and he's mentioned that he wants to, after graduation, after he graduated from high school, he wants to go to West Point, and he eventually wants to be president of the United States. So we're going to support him in every way we can. His family is supporting him, and obviously his teachers are as well. So again, this is just a real student with giving their authentic voice. So I'm going to talk a bit about training and outreach and what that looks like. So the Family Support Specialists, or FSS, they are currently attending training on the new online registration platform so that they can support our families. In addition to that, they are learning some technical knowledge and best practices to support families. You know, I'll say that it's part art and part science. The science part is knowing the process and knowing how to help families navigate through it. And the art is understanding customer service, empathy, compassion, and patience, and making sure those are on full display for our families. So they're also collaborating with the IT team and the student enrollment team, and they're just trying to address any potential challenges. In fact, we have a beta team going through the process. They're thinking of every scenario that could happen, that could show itself, so that we can have answers and figure out how to help our families navigate those. In addition to that, the FSSs will continue to support this effort by reaching out to families, doing care calls, and supporting the messages that are coming from the principals, making sure that our families are informed of this process. Lastly, the FACE department, which stands for Family and Community Engagement, they've been meeting with the FSSs as well, again, sharing best practices on how to support these families effectively. So we just talked about the training that and support that we're giving our staff, but obviously we're going to support our parents as well. So for those who need maybe additional support outside of what is provided at the school, you'll see these 3 locations here: Hickey, Oak Hill, and Naheed Chapman New American Academy. Parents can attend, or they can go between the hours of 11 and 2 in the morning. 9 and 11 in the morning, or between 2 and 4 in the afternoon, to get some of that one-on-one support. Obviously that just works better for some people. And those dates are on the screen as well. The launch date of January 21st, as well as a February and March date. In addition to that, if these hours just don't work for some parents, training will also be, assistance is also available at central office. That'll be from 8 to 5 p.m. So we have a lot of support that we're providing at the school levels. And again, I want to mention that those 3 schools up there are not just for those schools. Those are for anyone who's in the school in that vicinity. Again, you can get some more details about those schools and which ones sort of they're supporting at our website, www.slps.org/register. I want to go back here just a moment here. I told you about the newsletter, which is where we first launched this for our community. All of the newsletters that Dr. Borshade has sent are available there for viewing. There's an archive. So if you go to our homepage, slps.org, and click on Interim Superintendent, you'll see a welcome message as well as a link to all of the newsletters, including the most recent one where this was launched. So I'm going to take a moment here to take you through what the process will look like for our returning families. You're seeing the screenshot here of a family who may have not yet used our Tyler system yet, maybe have not yet logged in. So the pupil accounting team is who they will contact, and they'll get an email like this once they get access. So this is the screen where they will get to reset their password from the generic password they received from pupil accounting. And this is where they would log in. So if you've never been in the system before, you will receive a welcome message like what you see now. Otherwise, you will see this home screen. I want to call your attention to the yellow banner with a red exclamation point. That word is always tough for me to say. But what you'll see is a link there that lets you know that there are e-forms that you need to fill out. So we'll click on it, and you'll see that this family has just one student in the district. So there's just one line here. If there are other students, there will be several lines, one for each student. So this here is what they would see when they click on that link. And you'll see here that they will go and fill out these details. We first want to know if you are returning to school for the 25-26 school year. Once you answer that, we'll kind of take you through a couple of the questions, further questions. If you are eligible for transportation, we want to know if you need transportation. Again, in the past, we have just given you transportation, but in the effort to be more efficient, we want you to verify that you do in fact need it. And if you just need it for the AM or PM or both, you can identify that here. In fact, if you have a different address for AM or PM, they can also be identified here. Another thing I want to point out that you can identify here is if you have special education or if you need special education services, if you have an IEP, we want to make sure that we are honoring that, so you can detail that here. Once you fill that out, you will hit the button to confirm. You'll see that the error is gone or that the alert is gone. There was only one student for this family here, so you'll see it now empty and it has been removed from the returning families, from the SIS home screen. So that's how it works. What we're going to do as a communications department is a video that will show families kind of how to go through it with some audio, just to help, again, as some additional support for our families. Any questions?
Thank you. I want to also mention that all of our current writers will also be receiving an email, a robocall, an invitation, helping them to remember that it is important for them to opt into transportation. So all of our current writers will receive that email and or robocall, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for reminding that.
Has this launch occurred
The information launch? Yes, ma'am.
as of today?
Yes, ma'am.
So this, what you showed us is the opportunity for if parents need to start enrolling or uploading their documentation, this is what they should be doing now.
So the registration has not launched.
Okay.
That launches next week on the 21st.
Okay.
We've just begun to tell families about it through social media and other
Okay.
avenues so they can be prepared.
Okay, okay. Well, I want to commend, I know since I've been on the board, one of the biggest concerns that we had was that oftentimes the district was kind of stuck in the age of paper enrollment. You will have to go to the schools to enroll your child, or you will have to come up to 801. It was always like a blurred line on how, or the information wasn't quite clear on what needs to be done. So to bring the district to this day and age, I think is remarkable. In this century where we're actually now giving the parents the opportunity to actually go online, enroll their children. And this is not just for new students. Even though you say my kid is in the first grade and they're coming back, we're asking that they actually go through this process as well to update whatever information, upload all of their information as well, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Board Member Hubbard.
Okay, what are, if you were a parent who doesn't have your life together and you miss this registration period, what happens then?
If you miss the registration period, if you register after March 8th, you would have missed the priority window. And so transportation will happen for you when you register, but it will not be a part of the priority window.
Okay, so we will be, like, I just looked at our board policies and it says, certain distances, if possible, we're going to give them transportation. So this doesn't mean that if you miss it, you won't get transportation. It's just that we're trying to be better planners, right?
Correct. We're trying to be better planners because we know that school starts August 19th, 2025. And so knowing that on the front end, it helps our transportation department plan the routes and plan for how many students, so that all of those who have requested transportation can receive transportation on the first day of school. And noting what we've learned from this past year, where we had 22 pages of go stops, meaning that we rolled students over
And even though we rolled students over, some of those students never either were not eligible for transportation or did not need it, but yet we were stopping at those old stops because we rolled students over. And so we want to just make sure that we are being wise, learning from those lessons, and then being better stewards of our time.
And one final question. Is there also kind of built in like registration and, you know, I have ADHD, so it's like, oh my gosh, one more thing to do. But, and it's fine, I'll do it. But do we still have like plans for students to roll over in their classes, even if they are not sort of rolled into the transportation idea? Like if a parent doesn't watch any news, do any social media, doesn't see anything, shows up at their school in August, will their child be planned for in their classroom?
So because of our family support specialists who have connections with our family support specialists are also going to be reaching out to our families, reminding them, did you register? Our students will be taking home information. We need to register. If all of that does not get the parents to register, when they finally do come to the school, we will support and help them register. We'll help them with the process. Now, that means that in terms of planning for transportation, it will be more than likely a 7-day turnaround in order for them to get transportation. Thank you.
So at some point, we will still have on-site registration if they don't make that limit.
We will have on-site registration to help people, but it will also be online when they come to a specific site.
So
the
the ability to navigate through the
Yes.
online process.
Yes.
Secretary Jones.
So I'm thinking, if I have a child that's in before and after care, how do I figure out, my transportation needs? If I am able to get them there on the bus in the morning, but I need aftercare in the evening? And then is there something online that will indicate whether or not, aftercare is available? Because some schools, I understand, before we started to do this, they charged maybe at the Y or something. So parents will know how that would affect them.
So all things related to before and after care will not change. The reason so there will be an opportunity for parents to indicate whether or not they need before and after care, but that is solely also for planning purposes. But all things before and after school care will remain the same as they are now.
So I'm just gonna sort of reiterate, I think, some of the questions we've already had, but just to first and foremost, just to restate one of the major whys of we're doing this. So in past years, for as long as I've been around, every student who was eligible, some who weren't, were given a bus route to their school. And we didn't know they didn't want to use that route until sometime in the year where the bus driver may have said, hey, I've been stopping here for 3 months, no one's come. And they may or may have not removed that route from the system. The bus driver may have just quit stopping at that route, but it was incredibly inefficient because we were routing for 30 to 40% of students who weren't using the bus. Is that right? And we've known about this for years, that was not the way to do it. We sort of did a very meager attempt at opting out, which didn't provide a great reduction in the inefficiency because a lot of people didn't proactively say, I don't need the bus, or we didn't even handle those requests really well in terms of the routing because we did it at a late date. Is that fair to say?
Correct.
So this is a Herculean move that most school districts, if not all of them, do to say that if you're going to ride the bus, you need to tell us by a certain date so we can start planning. So our routes are more efficient, so we can reduce the amount of inefficiencies. We can maybe reduce the amount of routes. We can use the sparse pool of bus drivers to their most effect.
Correct.
And so that doesn't eliminate the fact that you can join the bus route later, but that's way easier to do than taking 40% off of the routes that we had.
Correct. Thank you.
Okay. I just want to sort of reiterate, that's going to be a huge move, and that's so important for everybody who wants to attend St. Louis Public Schools and needs a bus to fill that out in the window. And then you can always change your mind and say no.
Absolutely.
That's going to be easier.
Yes.
And then I did just kind of want to follow up on the aftercare. So kind of in the same vein, giving priority spots this early for people that need aftercare is going to help with planning at the schools.
Correct. Staffing and all of those things.
And so I do just want to point out, though, for what I hear you saying, there are those two schools that use the Y. They're probably still going to have to use the Y's system of registration.
Correct.
So at Mallinckrodt and Betty Wheeler, if you want to have aftercare, you're still going to have to go through the YMCA,
Correct.
which you have to go and get on their waiting list on their time period. So this system won't work for that.
Correct.
Okay. Is there a way that if you're applying at or registering for Betty Wheeler and you click on aftercare, that someone's going to look at those and send out an email saying, hey, you got to go next to this next step?
Yes.
Okay. I probably have a ton more questions, but I think I'll wait till the video of how it works. And I guess the most important thing is if you get stuck, if the information in the system isn't correct or whatever, you've now got an army of people to reach out to. So you can go to your school secretary, the FCS, you can go in person to those 3 locations or 801 during that time period. You're not alone in doing this, and everybody in the district is moving in the same direction. We know how to get people registered.
Correct. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, that's huge.
Thank
I mean, that's so huge.
Thank you to the Back to School Brigade team. Thank you, Mr. Mitchell.
Thank you.
Does that conclude your presentations, Dr. Bordeshay?
I would like to, at this point, ask for our new hires to come forward. Mr. Baker, who is our Director of Safety. I would like for Dr. Hubbard to come forward, who is our Internal Auditor. I think Mr. Baker is probably has stepped out. But I just wanted everyone to be able to put a name with a face. This is, once again, Dr. Hubbard, who is our Internal Auditor. I also want to introduce Ms. Perry, who is our new Board Secretary. Here is Mr. Baker at this point. Mr. Baker, our Director of Safety and Security. Thank you. Mr. Davis, who is our Director of Transportation, was still at Metapede, I want to say at about 7:40 because our last bus pulled in just about that time. So he was making sure that there was someone there to answer any questions or calls regarding late buses. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Are there any questions for the consent agenda?
Yes. For 510. Should I go 1 through 9?
We're not approving the consent agenda today. This is just questions, if you guys have any questions. So no. I'm sorry, go ahead, Board Member Hubbard. What did you say?
I guess I would like to pull 510 and have a question about it.
What, can you tell me what page it is?
It's 4. Oh. I do like having all the supporting documents,
Okay.
but it's page 4.
You got questions?
Yes.
What?
Okay. So I was confused a little bit. I think this one, as it is now, it says open to all certificated teachers. The one for gifted certification, one of the documents said it was only for teachers at the gifted school. And then the document from Parsons Blewett said, you know, it's a priority for gifted school staff, but it's open for anyone. I would just like some clarity about that.
Dr. Dino?
Sorry, I'm opening.
It's 5.10.
Yeah, I'm trying to open this and write supporting document. Thank you. So the, this is for the gifted program for the teachers to retain our gifted teachers. If after those teachers who want to enroll, if there's still funds available, then they can be made available to other teachers.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
So if we have teachers in our gifted programs who don't have their gifted certification, they're the first priority for receiving the funds to get the certification.
Okay, but other teachers in the district can do it.
Yes.
And I don't know if we need more pull-out teachers or what, but I just wanted to be clear on that. And then the reading specialist certification, are we going to have reading specialists again? Because otherwise I don't want them to, I mean, it's leaving them qualified to leave the district. So I just have questions about that. I would like to keep our teachers in the districts.
We would too.
Yeah. Our elementary academic instructional coaches are also required to have reading certifications if they want to become an academic instructional coach, because literacy is our primary focus for that. So it's not just reading specialists that benefit from having a reading certification. And especially given all the ways teaching is making different shifts in reading instruction now, we would actually love for all of our teachers to be able to have opportunities for this and not just see it as a way to become a reading teacher, but a way as honing their craft and getting better with their pedagogy.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions regarding the consent agenda? Vice President Davis?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda 5.1 through 5.9.
Is there a second?
Okay, I'll amend my motion. I'll make a motion to approve the entire consent agenda.
Is there any discussion? Ms. Perry?
Mr. Hikes? Ms. Weiss?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Cousins?
Abstain.
Motion approved.
Yes, thank you. After much thought and consideration, I have decided to resign from the Board of Education of the City of St. Louis. This wasn't an easy decision, as I care deeply about the district, but I can't continue to operate under the current conditions of this board. During my time on the school board, I've witnessed leadership stepping outside of their bounds as board members, getting involved in the operations of the district. I've witnessed closed session meetings derailed by angry outbursts directed at board members. I've witnessed disrespect and unprofessional behavior. Efforts to bring attention to the lack of information being shared and the necessity of properly maintaining minutes, agendas, and notices have been met with criticism for sharing my concerns. It has been difficult to serve in this role when asking questions and trying to hold ourselves accountable is seen as problematic. I find it concerning that some members of the board don't appear to want to address or examine board behaviors around the spending of funds. The final straw for me was when I asked for documentation to support the charges on the board secretary's credit card and received a less than sufficient response, no support from others backing up the request, and no documentation. It became apparent that the board was okay with not doing anything in regard to these expenses. I can no longer serve on a board in good conscience that isn't acting ethically and upholding our responsibility to the public to thoroughly evaluate and report on the district's mismanagement of funds. I ran for an elected seat on the school board because I wanted to contribute to a governance team that worked together to create positive social change in St. Louis and ensure schools, students, and educators had what they needed to be successful. I'm saddened to say that my hopes of working successfully together as an elected board have not actualized, but I do believe there's hope for future iterations of this board. As we go to the polls in April, I encourage everyone to engage in the process, ask lots of questions of the candidates, and consider the impact of your vote. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to those in the district who are working hard every day to educate and support our students. Governance issues are not representative of the day-to-day work of SLPS staff that keep the district running. I also want to sincerely thank everyone who supported me during my campaign and those that have provided encouragement throughout my time on this board. I'm grateful for our incredible SLPS community and all that you do for the students of this city. Thank you.
Any other board reports?
I have several. First of all, I want to say I'm disappointed, Sadie. I understand. This has been a very difficult and challenging time. It's been a very difficult and challenging 4 years, in all honesty, and governance has been very difficult. One of the things I think, which I've realized and that I'll continue to try to push for, is the fact that, you know, this board, the school district, was governed by an unelected board for many years. And this goes very much into what my board reports are about, the work that we're continuing to do in terms of governance. We did not have policies in place. We did not have, while the elected board, when they came back to power, had an enormous amount of training, that training didn't extend to the administrative team. And so it was a difficult relationship from the beginning, working with a administrator who wasn't used to an elected school board, who had a different constituency, and a very highly trained school board who was trying to do things that were unfamiliar to the administration. And that wasn't just the previous superintendent, Dr. Adams, but it was also his support team. They just worked in a different way. And when we came on the board, we had zero onboarding, I mean, probably about 2 hours of onboarding. We had no training other than what we had from MSBA, and we've been feeling our way for 4 years. And I think that, you know, what we've gone through in the past year, you know, to some extent reflects that. There are things in terms of our agenda that, you know, we've just carried over from the special administrative board. If you look at other agendas in other school districts, they do things much differently. There's much more transparency in terms of credit card usage and regular bills. So, I mean, I could go on and on, but I'm just going to go into my board report because the 3 committees that I serve on are all working very much towards fixing these problems, but it's not for one board member to do. It's not for one committee member to do. It's not even for all 7 of us to do, but it is absolutely essential that all 7 of us engage in this work all the time. You cannot just come in here and show up to a meeting and think that, well, I'll just express an opinion or ask a couple of questions and that you've contributed to the school district. This school district is way more work. This Board of Education is way more work. And the 12 people that are running for the school board, God bless you, good luck. I hope you have a clue of what you're going to face when you get here. And it's not dysfunction. I mean, I've always said that you serve on a school board, you volunteer for a job with 6 other people that you would not have picked to work on this very complex problem, and they wouldn't have picked you, but you got to figure it out. And I think that we have lagged in that. And we've lagged in that because we've had other outside forces coming in and interfering. Donna Jones said to me the very first time, what's the #1 thing for success in the school board. She said, don't be a puppet. Stand up for yourself, for what you believe in, for why you were elected. Think for yourself. And that's so important. And as long as we're all focused on the same goal, we can have different opinions. We can have different approaches. But you've got to come in, you've got to put in the work. So to that end, I do want to say, we've been putting in the work. On December 20th, there was an audit committee meeting. Unfortunately, it was revealed during that meeting that we were not going to, once again, for the second time in a year, meet the December 31st deadline for our external audit to be done. And again, it was the same reasons for staffing issues in the finance department. Unfortunately, we did not spend the year after to rectify those problems because of so many distractions. I can say that when the Board of Education realized that our superintendent was not following through on her job, we held her accountable. And that's really all we can do. To that end, Dr. Boris-Shade attended the audit committee meeting, took in the information from the audit committee, and gave a report earlier tonight in our closed session regarding staffing improvements and changes that need to happen in terms of adding the necessary staff to make sure that this audit compliance is done. I don't know why that wasn't done over the last year, but those are going to be done for the next year. So that is my audit committee report. Oh, also, we welcomed, she was not yet started, but we did discuss the changes to policies which are coming forward, which are going to tweak the reporting structure of the internal auditor. So the audit committee, which is an independent body of the school board with independent community experts in finance and auditing procedures, will be working with the internal auditor to come up with an audit plan and regular reporting for internal audits. That's something that also was not previously done. That's my audit committee report. My next committee I want to talk about is the governance committee. The governance committee, after receiving the management assessment, has gone ahead, and we are going to have weekly meetings for an indeterminate time on Thursdays at 4:30. Our first weekly meeting of the governance committee will be this Thursday at 4:30 in the boardroom 102. The agenda is to review the management assessment corrective action plan and to begin making sure that there is a plan in place for those various 5 or 6 corrective actions. We are also going to review the board meeting agenda format. Like I previously said, this is something we've been talking with the Missouri School Boards Association, that our agenda, unbeknownst to me, because I came in here, this was the agenda that was given to us, is very different from other school districts. And there are things in terms of employment ratifications for the HR transaction report. There are things such as credit card statements and other financial statements that other school boards regularly include in their consent agenda that we never have. So we're going to work on making those changes consistent with other school districts. The other agenda items that we're going to talk about is separating new business out of consent agendas. So new contracts over a certain threshold will be discussed and pulled off of that consent agenda. It's going to make these meetings longer. It's going to probably be more work for staff, but it's going to be something that I think is important. We're also going to review proposed bylaw changes. In 2022, the Missouri School Boards Association recommended some bylaw changes, and they were never acted upon by this board. So we're going to re-review those. We're going to review new board member onboarding because there will be new board members. Maybe quite a lot of them coming on in the next few months. We adopted a new member board onboarding plan in 2022. However, the administration never supported us in doing that. And so Dr. Boris-Shade has committed to making sure that that board member onboarding is implemented as we approved in 2022. We're also going to talk with an update with MSBA policy projects. The finance team has been putting in a lot of time, as well as the other departments that support them. So what Dr. Boris-Shade has done is had, I think, bi-weekly meetings with the policy project. We've gotten the first set of the finance policies back. And they've been working through those. It is a lot. A lot of them are very outdated. It's really been the two meetings that I've been involved in, I haven't been to all of them, have been great exercises. It's been a lot of time taking the finance team and everybody else around, but sitting down, reading the policies and thinking through them, what the words mean, what they need to say, has been huge. This is again, something that we started talking about in 2021, when I got on the board. The excuse given to us by the administration was they couldn't update the policies because of COVID. And it wasn't until interim superintendent Dr. Williams gave us the go-ahead to work with MSBA. And so we're still working through that process. That's a process that's going to continue probably over the next year. And it's a huge project. So we'll be talking about all of that in our governance committee on Thursday, and then we will be continue to do that work. Finally, I want to give a legislative committee update. As everyone probably knows, the legislature has begun this month. Pre-filing of bills began in December. There are 3 bills that we are currently, that we're excited about. There are about 140 bills so far that have educational implications. I would probably say 120 of those we are not excited about. But I do want to point out 2 of them. One is SB 456, I believe, and then also HB 404. They're basically the identical bills. This is the changes to the pension system, the retirement system. We have been working on this through the legislative committee probably since 2022. Last year, there was a bill that was introduced that we opposed. This one is a compromise bill that we're still working to get agreement on. We've been working with the retirement system board for quite some time to come up to these changes. The last meeting that we had dealt with, the retirement board invited charter school participation, which we've always asked for the charter schools to be at the table, because while St. Louis Public Schools does about 67% of the contributions, the rest are done through charter schools. And so this is going to have significant implications for them. So those 2 bills have been introduced, and we'll be looking to see that we can all go to Jefferson City, St. Louis Public Schools, charter schools, and the retirement board and push for those changes, which will get the retirement system back off of the watch list. It'll be the actuaries, I think, projected. I'm going to forget the number now, but it'll be several years, but it'll always be on the right trajectory if we go to this fix. And it's going to be several $1 million extra for the districts in terms of contributions. Finally, I also did want to point out that one of our legislative priorities for the last couple of years has actually made its way into a proposed bill. It's Senate Bill 177. It is proposed by Senator Maggie Nurenburn out of Kansas City. She is a former educator, former member of the House of Representatives. And this is the bill that would require any new charter schools, before they're open, to provide a certificate of need. This is something, while we did pass a resolution calling for a moratorium on charter schools that was joined by the Missouri School Boards Association as well as the Board of Aldermen. Of course, that was a non-binding resolution on all those fronts. What we've really been asking for through our legislative priorities is that before charter schools open, that they can at least demonstrate that there is some community need in there. So this bill does call for that. And I just want to read some of the language. The certificate of need shall affirm that consumer demand for alternative educational options exceeds supply, that the school district has sufficient economies of scale, as the term is defined in the act, that the certificate of need shall affirm the charter school is to likely alleviate economic and racial inequities, improve students' academic achievement, reduce student-teacher ratios, improve efficiencies in education service delivery, reduce the number of schooling disruptions faced by children and families, and address other family priorities. I mean, in the last 5 years, no charter school that's opened in the city of St. Louis would have met those criteria. And it's hard to believe unless there's a change in demographics in the city and that we are adding families with children to the city, that there is any more need for any additional charter schools. The charter schools that have opened have not alleviated economic and racial disparities. They have not improved student achievement, and they certainly have not added to increased efficiencies in the way that we deliver systems. And we have documented that over and over and over again. So we'll be looking to support that bill in Jefferson City. And those are my committee reports.
Secretary Jones.
Only the strong survives. That's a song that comes to my mind from Jerry Butler. I guess old school or old heads like myself will remember that. But I'm so proud to be able to sit up here with the strong, because there have been so many lies and mistruths that have been spread about the board. This board has fought hard to make sure that the privatizers, the people who want to get rid of, dismantle SLPS, are not successful. We've been here a long time. I've been here 19 years volunteering. I left a job when I had 7 children. I had no gas for 10 years. We suffered because I wanted to make sure that I could volunteer and I didn't have any strings hanging off my back. And people standing back there telling me something, because I lived in Walnut Park, where I see zombies walking around every day. Young men, young ladies who were going to school, not getting the things they needed because of politicians, not because of people. We had beautiful teachers here in SLPS who were trying to do their job. But since I've been here 14 years, you had 2 school boards. 2 school boards. I didn't hear anybody say anything. Run by the state, the governor, Lewis Reed, and the mayor. And here they are. They had money to start charter schools, but none for SLPS. No, they did not. And I didn't hear anybody. My family put money together to try to come, have people come. We still met every year. We met. We had elections. We just spent money that we did not have. We sacrificed. My baby girl right there, grandchild out there, she comes to all the board meetings, as many as she can. She's been going ever since she was a baby up to my thigh, sacrificing because we know what's at stake. People want to get rid of SLPS, dismantle this school board, dismantle this district, because the money is coming in. Whenever money comes in, look at North St. Louis. Where is North St. Louis now? Looks like a war zone. Who's saying anything now? I'm saying something because I'm mad. Yes, that's right. Call me an angry Black woman. I live in North St. Louis in Walnut Park, and I haven't seen any kind of development going on over there. I just see people ride through my neighborhood, and people from that group, Opportunity Trust, they want to get a free school. Nobody comes in to build up the house or build up the neighborhood. They want to holler and scream, oh, what are you all doing? But what are you doing? What are you doing? You're not doing anything. Shut your mouth. You know, you don't want us to say anything. Don't come up here screaming at me. You don't want me to scream back at you. I hurt too. I'm so tired of living in a neighborhood where the young men and women I see are dying in the street. I'm crying all the time. I drive and I see people falling to the side on drugs and dope. Nobody's saying a word, but you're going to sit up here and start talking about the board. Where are you at? It bothers me. It really does. I tried to be cool about it, but I'm not. 19 years of my life, 19 years of the neighborhood looking terrible. Somebody drive through Walnut Park. Somebody drive through North St. Louis and tell me it's just St. Louis Public School. I'm telling you, lying. It's politicians. Team Ford, 1947, they started this. It was a plan to get rid of African Americans, and they're almost through with it. They have almost achieved. They put up people that look like me. They're well-dressed and they'll get them money. They're well-spoken. And they'll start spreading these lies, and then they'll come in and take up the neighborhood. They'll buy out the schools, because when you control the schools, you control the neighborhood. So enough of this stuff. I'm glad that the people are here that are here right now, because I'm telling you now, we have put up with some stuff, but we have been fighting strong for our families, our kids, and I never turned my back one time. I would never sit up here with Miss Tony Cousins, with Matt, with Dr. Shady, with Tracy, I would never, never, if they weren't doing the right thing. I'm worried about God more than I am anybody in this audience that run their mouth about what's going on. That's my biggest fear, and that's all I got to say.
Vice President Davis, thank you for your board report. It's unfortunate that we won't have you to move forward with this journey. Ditto to what Secretary Jones has said. The district is under attack if people don't realize and understand. I don't want to reflect on the negative things. I want to continue to focus on the things and the direction that the district is going in. We continue to hear that the district is a mess. We've lost $35 million. You know, all the things that the media continues to want to pick up on is negative stories about St. Louis Public Schools. But I don't know if you saw what I saw, but what I saw today is why I'm here. To see principals standing before you and to see the academic growth that we've had on a district that people say our kids can't read. This is growth. Like, I think what Dr. Bordeshay was showing us and we was recognizing is how our comprehensive schools, which means what DESE listed as our struggling schools or academically failing schools, has shown major growth. Even in all the trials that this district, as the media has portrayed, has been going through, guess what? We've had growth. We're not broke. I don't know if you are really paying attention because the media don't want to report that. How can you be broke with a $200 million surplus? 1 minute, we had a superintendent that was here for a year and she spent $35 million in a year. Now, I don't know where that story came from, but clearly that's not going to be retracted. Then you go from 35 million to 1.6 million. She didn't even spend 1.6 million. And if you really, as you all have dug so deep into the credit card statements, you dug really deep. I mean, $1.6 million for a $500 million company. $1.6 million, most of that was professional development for the staff. Professional development. Now, I'm really not trying to use this platform as a Tony platform, because this is not about President Cousins. I know this is about an attack on St. Louis Public School. I know it is. But hey, you want to hit me for a $40 upcharge on Southwest Airline? Come on, y'all. $40 from not wanting to board on the C boarding to A boarding, but nobody ever factored in that I have to use PTO, my vacation time, when I'm going on those conference trips and bringing back information of the positive things that we're actually doing for this district. You can say what you want to say, but we're turning this district around in a good way. This man just reported on a pension that no one wanted to touch, that we're fighting for, not just for St. Louis Public School retired, but we're talking about charter and everybody. This district has the second highest paid staff. The second highest paid staff. That's what this board fought for and made sure it happened. But you didn't talk about that. It is unfortunate that people don't see and understand what board governance is. And like Vice President Davis said, anybody that's running, you really don't have a clue of what it entails being on a school board. It's not an individual thing. You can say it was Matt and Tony all day long. It take votes. It take votes. Two people can't make no decision. Everything we've done has been clearly transparent as transparent can be. You can't get no transparent than that. So spin the story, tell the story, attack us, do whatever you want to do, but I'm not going anywhere. Make your memes, show it how you show it. The difference between me and her, we both was built, bred, and bleed Walnut Park. I will always fight for the right of the people. And I'm standing on it all day. Any other reports? With that said, public comments. Vice President Davis, did you want to present your community engagement policy for speakers? Public comments. Mr. Ronell.
Good evening, and thanks again to our board. Protocol having been established, we'll share our rules for engagement. In order to conduct district business, we will continue to enforce guidelines for public comments. As a reminder, they are as follows. Please, if you are commenting, do not hand documents directly to board members. Give them to the secretary. Commenters, you may take a seat in the room. You will have 3 minutes to address the board. If you extend beyond that, your mic will be cut off. Each commenter must remain respectful and refrain from speaking derogatorily about anyone. Do not use names. There will be 30 minutes allotted for all comments. And if you were not called to speak, you might submit your information in writing or return to the next scheduled board meeting. Individuals, please speak on one point. We will first have Zachariah Davis.
Good evening. The call has already been established. I want to say tonight, again, I rise as a community member and a former parent in St. Louis Public and a soon-to-be grandparent. I'm looking forward to January the 21st to register my granddaughter to go to St. Louis Public Schools. I will tell you that, as I've stated before, my daughter is a graduate of St. Louis Public Schools. And I am a strong public school proponent. And tonight I've seen a lot of how great St. Louis Public Schools is. I will say this, and I will take my seat. I continue to be troubled as a community member and a taxpayer. I continue to be troubled by reports about this board. I continue to be troubled. And this 48-page report is terrible. It's terrible. It's discouraging. But regardless to that, I love St. Louis Public Schools, and my granddaughter will start in August. But there is much still we must look at. This I am not happy about. And you all, as board members, should be concerned that I, as a taxpayer and a community member, am not happy about this.
Next, Chester Asher.
You all gave some board reports. And in those reports, We don't hear anything about academics. So you have to ask, where is the work being done around academics? Kids can't read. That's not me saying that. That's the state saying it. Kids take a test to tell us whether or not they can read. And according to the state, 80% of children who come to SLPS cannot read. 80%. And so, you know what? If you wanted to celebrate teachers and students and administrators in an authentic way, I'll be right behind you. But you all march them up here as a prop. Because according to SLU, again, not Chester Asher, according to SLU Prime, St. Louis University, 5% of kids who go to St. Louis public schools graduate college. 5%. Where are the other 95%? So you can have board members talking and smirking while the public is addressing you, but at the end of the day, you have blood on your hands because we know there's a school to prison pipeline. We know that's real, but somehow when we get into schools, we act like, oh, we're just talking about other things. No, that's violence and crime and incarceration when kids can't read. So you have blood on your hands as you sit here and you smirk when you're in a school that probably doesn't have more than 20% of the kids reading on grade level. And that's not a slight to the teachers or administrators. That's a slight to you all, because you're in charge. You ran to be in charge. And now you want to pass the blame and talk about provocateurs or people who talk badly about the district. No, we want our kids to read. Is that so hard? Is that so hard to understand? You all fired the superintendent. Again, I wasn't a fan of the superintendent, but you fired her and acted as if the thing she did was crazy and she created this budget deficit. You fired her for the same things that Tony Cousins does. And by what she does, all those flight upgrades.
So this is what we doing. So I know you just said my name. So this what we doing? Cause this what I'm not doing. Yes, you did. Is this what we doing?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Ms. Perry.
Mr. Hikes. Ms. White, Ms. Hubbard. Ms. Hubbard.